Under Oklahoma's harsh marijuana prohibition laws, disabled U.S. Marine Corps veteran Kris Lewandowski, who served 3 tours of duty in Iraq and Afghanistan, is facing up to life in prison for growing under an ounce of marijuana in his home. Now, Lewandowski suffers from severe PTSD and no longer wanted to use pharmaceutical drugs, Jose, so he started growing pot in his home. He had 6 plants. Not to paint him as a saint, though, because the reason this case came about, his wife, he was chasing her with a knife. She ran to the neighbor's house for help to leave the kids there, and the neighbor ended up calling the police. The police come in, and essentially they arrest him and his wife. They let her go, but they charge him with these massive criminal charges for growing his own pot. Now, a lot coming out of this case and a lot of intricate details, but the primary one going on here, Oklahoma has very stringent zero-tolerance pot laws, and a felony conviction like this is tantamount to a life sentence if he's guilty of all of it and sentenced.
I mean, obviously this guy needs some help and probably deserves some amount of jail time, but the idea that for the crime of growing 1 ounce of marijuana for medical relief will put you in jail for a lifetime goes to show how backwards and how outdated our marijuana laws are in some states in this country. It's very unfortunate to see. It's not the only case. We've heard it before. There's a case in Texas of a woman with Crohn's disease that started using cannabis oil to help herself, and then she got a call, she got snitched to the state authorities, and her daughter was removed from her house, and now she's facing jail for a long, long time, and she's not allowed to see her daughter just for growing weed for medical purposes.
Right. It's strange how disproportionate laws are via state to state. So here in California, I mean, growing an ounce of pot isn't going to get you a life sentence like it could be in Oklahoma. But his wife, who is now fighting, tooth and nail to make sure her husband doesn't go to jail for life, prison for life rather, she had this to say about the situation that they're in. He was using it. He couldn't get any, of course. We're a military family. We're very poor. We couldn't afford to buy it anyway, so he was just growing it for himself. He was on his way out of the military and just wanted to see if it would help with his mental issues. She went on to describe at length his mental issues and how the prescription drugs that he was taking, they couldn't afford them, and they had really limited assistance, and it was damaging his liver, these major drugs to deal with PTSD. Incidentally, PTSD Awareness Month, the VA just celebrated it, and this is coming on the heels of that. A lot of this issue is really misunderstood by people, and this man just highlights it.
Yeah, it does. It does shows that there's still a lot of laws, state laws around that punish and criminalize something that should be available for, especially like we are seeing in this case, veterans that put their life in order to defend the freedom in this country, and they got here and they don't have freedom to find relief from the things that they brought back from war. It's unfortunate also to see that he had, if I'm correct, he had his first, he was released, then he moved to California.
Correct.
And then they had a trial without him being notifying, and then he got a warrant and got arrested on his son's preschool. He's
now sitting in jail here.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, it was very, very sad to see that with gun draw, they were looking for this guy for a second time in front of this community, a preschool. I don't think that's necessary.
Well, the authorities in this case, they had notified the authorities that they were going to leave Oklahoma and come to California, and he missed his trial. He's claiming that they didn't notify him in Oklahoma that he had a trial. A judge issued a bench warrant for him. It was served in front of his son's preschool. You're absolutely right. He was arrested in front of his son for the second time and is now sitting in an Orange County jail awaiting, I'm assuming, another court date, but he's still waiting. This is still pending. It's coming up July the 22nd. Just to really touch on Oklahoma's laws here, if you committed a marijuana crime within 2,000 feet of a school, public park, or public housing, you receive double period of incarceration and fine and a mandatory prison sentence. So they're not messing around with those laws. Anyway, we'd love to know what you think about this story. Is he justified? Is Oklahoma right? A lot of issues going on here, especially regarding PTSD. Please log on, post your comments below about this story. While you're at it, be sure and check out the rest of our channel and subscribe to the LibTV2 for more.